What is going on, guys? Welcome back to We Want Picks. My name is Jacob, aka the Freckled Salamander, aka maybe your future stepdad, aka maybe your future brother-in-law. If you've got single family members, send them my way. I am here to bring you my quick pick video for UFC Sao Paulo, Brazil. Obrigado por repetir, por favor, como vai? That is my full card breakdown in this video, giving you picks for every single fight. I cannot wait. This card is going to be a good one. I am going to be live next Saturday for this card, so make sure you like the video, subscribe if you are new, tune in tomorrow for our complete breakdown with me and Angel. Lock of the week video will be live on Wednesday. We do a little call-in show on Thursday. Make sure you go to WeWantPicks.com. Consider becoming a premium member, by the way. The website is absolutely beautiful. The value you get, it's only $10 a month. Everyone's doing $50, $100. $10 a month. That there's 4 cards in a month, that's gotta be good value or something. WeWantPicks.com. Consider becoming a premium member. With that said, let's get right into the action. UFC Sao Paulo, Brazil. Obrigado. Here we go. First fight of the night, we have Marc versus, I think it's Kaue. Is it Kaue? Kaue Fernandes. We have Fernandes versus Marc, and this should be a fun matchup to get this fight card started. Marc is a guy, former, actually, pretty a dangerous striker. Came in as a striker, dangerous striker, molded his game into the wrestling, and kind of became a boring wrestler. And you saw in his last matchup, it's almost like I don't know if he was scared of the grappling of Joel Alvarez. He probably should have been, but he tried to show off his striking a little bit more. Kaue Fernandes is going to be very, very live in this matchup, especially in the first round. His kicks are dynamic. His striking is good. His takedown defense actually looks pretty solid. He has good offensive grappling as well. The issue is with him, if he gets out of the first round, he's not a quitter, but he will slow down. He can get taken down. He can get put on his back. He's probably not going to quit, but there is a situation here where Marc comes in, survives the first round, all the kicks, gets him to the ground in the second round, and turns this into a very slow, methodical, slowed down, boring Marc type of fight and wins this decision. But I got all the faith in Fernandes in this matchup. I just think he's going to be way cleaner in the striking, the more dangerous striker for sure, and I think he can find something on Marc early, get Marc to kind of panic wrestle, and if Marc is panic wrestling instead of really shooting very well-timed shots behind strikes, he is going to get in trouble. So I'm going to go Kaue here. It could be a little bit more of an inside the distance decisional action play. I think there's some good spots on this card for those type of plays. Marc is not like a super dangerous guy, especially if he starts wrestling. If this guy gets out of the first round, even if Kaue was looking good in that first round, things could definitely shift. Could be a live bet situation, but early on in this fight, I definitely like Fernandes to land some big, powerful shots, maybe get Marc out there early. If it gets out of the first round, we'll see what happens, but I'm going Fernandes in this matchup. Let's move on. Ruiz versus Moura, and this one, it kind of is what it is, right? We've seen Ruiz. I like Ruiz. I think I picked her against Cheyenne. She's a tough girl. She's my type of girl. I mean, she is my type of crazy. You get some girls with some neck tats and some shit. That is my type of girl. And she is tough, man. You got to give her credit. The last couple fights, she's kind of been getting mauled. But she is tough. She tries to tough out those situations. The issue is for her, she just kind of lacks the strength. I mean, she is like an atom weight, a 105er, trying to fight at 115. These girls that are just as good technical are just kind of out-muscling her on the ground. And unfortunately for her, Moura is a girl. You want to talk about Moura and how good she is on the ground. She is more of kind of like a control position jiu-jitsu type grappler. With Moura, she is the same type of thing, but she gets nasty, man. She will throw the strikes, she will throw the elbows, and that will make you panic a little bit more. If somebody's just in full mount looking for submissions, you can stay safe, and you saw Ruiz do that for a few rounds versus Amorim, even get some reverse some positions, right? I mean, Amorim was a girl that was pulling guard, Ruiz on top. If Ruiz is on top, she knows what she's doing. She is a very high-level grappler herself. The issue is, when she's on bottom, she just does not have the strength, and Moura is a girl that isn't going to be pulling guard, and when she gets on top, she is looking for a finish very, very quickly. So unfortunately, I am going to go Moura here. She should win. We've seen what happens sometimes with these minus 400, minus 500 female favorites, but Ruiz, if she gets on top, especially early, she definitely can have some success, but on the bottom, she just hasn't really shown the strength to be able to get out of a lot of these positions that the girls put her in. She's probably going to be put there again. Moura's got good takedowns. We'll see if she can tough it out. I'll be rooting for Ruiz. She is my type of girl, like I said, but I'm going Moura in this match. Angela Hill versus former lock of the week, Denise Gomes. You know I'm going with the former lock of the week, Denise Gomes, in this matchup. Listen, this probably is one of those weird matchups that Angela Hill finds a way to survive the first round. Denise Gomes is a little bit tired in the second round, in the third round, and Angela Hill wins one of these weird Angela Hill fights, right? If there was ever an Angela Hill fight where she's probably supposed to lose but wins, it probably is against a girl like Denise Gomes, because Denise Gomes isn't like the most technical person. She isn't like a 3-round, just throw volume. She wants to get in your face, and she wants to knock you out. And actually, in this matchup, I see her finishing Angela Hill. Angela Hill has never been KO'd, never been TKO'd, but she has been hurt. There has been moments where she has been hurt and she's almost been finished. Denise Gomes is a girl. In my mind, I see Denise Gomes as like the new age Jessica Andrade. She's not going to beat high-level people. She just doesn't have that type of technique. But anyone that she can get in their face and throw those big shots, she's probably going to finish them. I mean, Jessica Andrade has basically beat everyone she should beat and lost to everyone she should lose to. I see Denise Gomes as the same type of girl. She's going to beat everyone who she should beat. She should beat, which is Angela Hill, and she probably is going to lose to very high-level girls. And honestly, I think Denise Gomes has the ability to get Angela Hill out in this matchup. But Angela Hill has shown she can survive, she can get there, she can do it. Decision fighters, I mean, this is female MMA. I have stayed away from them completely from now on, unless it's like a certain, a certain type of female. Oh, shit. But Denise Gomes is going to be my pick. I'm pretty confident in her, but I have not played her in any type of way. Go to WeWantPicks.com, become a premium member to see all the plays that we have for this week. But Denise Gomes is the pick. Let's move on. Vitor Petrino versus Modestas Bukauskas. Vitor Petrino versus Modestas Bukauskas. Let me say right now, Vitor is going to be my play, right? He's a big physical guy. He's shown that he can wrestle. He's got the big power. Let me give you guys a little bit of a secret here, in case you haven't realized it. Vitor Petrino is not that good. I mean, he is a guy that stands very tall, right in front of you, eats all the shots. His wrestling is more power than it is technique. He's got a good gas tank, but that's been a good gas tank with him kind of being on top. And he's had to work on some of those positions, right? So he does have a good gas tank, but we've never really seen him on the bottom work through like really, really big adversity as far as like getting hit, eating a shot. He's an undefeated fighter. He should have the tools needed to win this matchup. I don't want to take away too much from Vitor against a guy like Modestas, who's been in the UFC before, has struggled, came in, looked okay, but he's not really a big, powerful guy. He doesn't eat shots well. He can't get taken down. So the path to victory is there for Vitor. He is my pick for this play. This isn't going to be the spot where we fade Vitor, but just keep it in mind that this guy isn't as good as you think he is. If you're loaded up on parlays, there might be a moment in this fight where you're like, oh no. But Vitor should have the path to victory here. He's got the power. He's got the wrestling. He's got the control. He got his first submission win. He looks like he's still a young guy, so he's going to keep continuing to get better. But I just want to warn somebody, even if Vitor comes in and smokes Modestas, which honestly he probably should. He's going to have the power. He should be able to knock him out. Let's think about this going on. Remember, this is chess. We're not playing checkers here. This is chess. Let's almost hope that Vitor smokes him, gets some better odds, and let's start fading him down the stretch. This week is not the week to fade Vitor. He's got the power. He's shown he can eat a shot. He's got the wrestling. He is my play. But eventually, we're going to fade this man, and we're going to make a lot of money. But Vitor is the play for this matchup. Rinat versus Zaleski, and this one is... If this was a few years ago, Zaleski's kind of getting up there in age now. I don't know, 37, 38, something like that. In his last fight has shown that he can kind of get held against the cage. And that's what is really big here. Because when you watch Zaleski against Benoit Saint-Denis, who was a smaller guy, short notice, now it's everyone loves Saint-Denis, and for good reason, by the way. But in that matchup, you saw Zaleski be able to defend the takedowns and really punish the grappler in Benoit Saint-Denis, because Zaleski he has good takedown defense, really good takedown defense, really, really good striking, is tough as well. The issue is when you watch that last fight versus Abubakar, there were situations where Zaleski was just kind of getting held against the fence. And against a guy like Rinat, if you're getting held against the fence, you're getting taken down. I mean, he is just not going to stop. If he gets you against the fence, you are going to get taken down. Zaleski has good takedown defense, and in space, the striking should be pretty even. If this was a few years ago, I don't think Rinat's going to have the striking to be able to stand with this guy. I think the wrestling is still going to be enough, right? Even if Rinat didn't have the striking, he is relentless enough with the wrestling, with the grappling, he can probably win this fight. But now, Rinat has even shown improvements in the striking. So even if it's on the feet, I think Rinat can definitely hold his own to be able to set up those shots. And anytime these grapplers start figuring out their hands more and more, it just makes them so much more dangerous. You saw Khabib, when Khabib first learned that jab and got that Khabib jab going, it just sets up the takedowns even more. Islam with his striking, people fear the takedowns so much, and that is what Rinat is turning into. I mean, I think he's going to be able to show up and show out in this matchup, do some things in the striking, set up the takedowns, be relentless, and maybe find a finish in the second or the third round of this matchup once he starts wearing down Zaleski. So if this was like an old school Zaleski 5-6 years ago with the old, not an old Rinat, but a more green Rinat, this is probably a very good match, a very close matchup, but Rinat's going to be way too relentless. He's going to get there. Maybe Zaleski defends against the fence, but Rinat's going to keep working, get those takedowns. We've seen how relentless he can be through all 3 rounds. I am taking Rinat in this matchup, and I feel pretty good about it. Let's move on to the next one. Daniel Marcos versus Vitor Hugo. I think it's Victor, actually. I said Vitor. Vitor is a much better name than Victor. If I was Victor, I would say, no, my name is Vitor. It just sounds so much better. But Daniel Marcos versus Vitor Hugo, and Vitor Hugo is probably the more dangerous guy in this matchup. In the first round, he is probably going to have some success. He is a very, very dangerous grappler who also throws very wild. He is in your face. He does the wild stuff, the karate kicks, the leg sweeps, the flying knees, the spitting stuff. The issue is, I know a lot of people are kind of put off on Daniel Marcos because of the last fight versus Davey Grant, and I get it. He was very tentative. He was kind of just waiting way too much. A lot of people think he didn't even win that fight. But if you go back to the Simon Oliveira fight, which, again, Daniel Marcos was the underdog. He was my lock of the week. I've never missed a lock of the week in my life. Daniel Marcos against a guy that was in his face, that is where he shines. He is a very, very good striker, a very good counter striker with good takedown defense. So if Victor comes in, which I know he will come in and be aggressive and be in Daniel Marcos' face, that's what Daniel Marcos likes. The issue with Davey Grant was he was waiting to counter-strike, and Davey Grant was waiting to counter-strike. It was just kind of this stalemate of like not really knowing. They couldn't really gauge the distance because there was really no exchanges. There's going to be no distance gauging in this matchup. Victor is going to be in his face, and the counter-strike should be there. And you saw the systematic breakdown from Daniel Marcos to Simon Oliveira. Working the body, the knees, the body work, and really kind of broke him down. I see the same thing happening in this fight. I think it's a great matchup for a guy like Daniel Marcos. If you are that high-level guy, if you are that high-level counter-striker, Vitor Hugo is exactly who you want to fight because he's going to come forward, not super technical, throwing wild. You can pick him apart, stay safe early, and you should have the advantage as the fight goes on. So I am going Daniel Marcos in this matchup. I think it's a great matchup for him. I understand the dangers that Victor possesses, not only on the feet, but definitely on the ground as well. On the ground is definitely the path to victory for Victor. I don't know if he can get it there. He doesn't set up shots really, really well. Daniel Marcos is an undefeated guy, high-level counter striker is the big thing here. I am going Daniel Marcos in this matchup. Let's move on. Elves Brener versus Esteban Ribovics. And this should be a fun fight, man. This has all the makings. If the Daniel Marcos and Vitor Hugo isn't the fight of the night, and there might be 1 or 2 more mixed in here, I think that this is going to be the fight of the night. Elves, he showed how tough he is. He showed how absolutely tough he was versus Garam. And a lot of people are going to be like, oh, he beat Garam. He beat Garam. He came out with the win. He came out with the finish. But he was kind of getting beat on that entire fight. He got a takedown or 2, got some good control on the ground, but he was almost finished in that first round. He was getting beat up. He was getting bloody. Garam was fading in that third round, but there wasn't a situation where it was like, oh, Garam is about to get finished. They were both very, very tired. Had the shot to the side of the neck, which is what it is, right? I mean, he found the shot. He got the finish. But in that matchup, I didn't see a lot from Brener that made me think, oh, this guy is a really, really good fighter, right? Garam was kind of that high-level guy. He finished Garam, but in between that fight, in the striking, he was getting outstruck. Landed some shots, right? But he was getting outstruck. In the grappling, he didn't really do a whole lot to make me think that this is a very high-level finishing type, control type grappler. He had some good control, but nothing like super overly aggressive, super overly dominant. When I watch Esteban Ribovics, I know that this guy's a dog, right? He was taken down an ungodly amount of times by Loic, never stopped in that fight. Came in his last fight versus Quamela Kirk, understood I cannot get taken down. What happened? First 15 seconds, he gets taken down. The guy's got good ground game. He's known for his Kimura sweeps, but he knows how to stay safe on the ground if he gets taken down. He took his time versus Quamela. Quamela kind of blew his load a little bit. Esteban was staying safe, and once it was on the feet, you saw the striking ability and the gas tank of a guy like Esteban Ribovics. Wasn't deterred. He knew he was down in the first round, came in, was landing some good shots, dropped them, and the best thing is that he understood I cannot get taken down again. The takedown defense in the second and the third round, and the scrambling abilities, and the understanding, even in the third round, of this is a 1-1 fight. I'm winning the striking in the third round, but if I get taken down right here and I get held down, I could lose this fight. The sense of urgency late in the fight from a guy is very, very strong. You don't see that a lot. That's kind of one of those sixth sense type of things of understanding the situation, understanding where the fight is, and understanding I need to get back to my feet. So when it comes to this fight, I think Esteban Ribovics is the better striker in this matchup. I think it's probably a mostly striking matchup, but if it's on the ground, if Ribovics is on top, I think he can stay on top. If Esteban is, if Brener is on top, I think there's a situation where he can stay on top. But Ribovics knows how to stay safe. Brener probably knows how to stay safe. But the sense of urgency I like from Ribovics in this matchup. So long story short, I'm taking the dog here in Esteban Ribovics because I think he is the better striker. They are both tough as shit. But I like the kind of sixth sense, that next gear that Ribovics has shown in his fights, especially that last fight. He can stay safe. He gets taken down. He's got some good sweeps. He is the better striker in this matchup. Give me Esteban Ribovics. Let's move on. Ismael Bonfim versus Vince from Hell Pichel. I think is it from Hell Pichel or to Hell? It should be to Hell. I'm sending you the fucking to Hell to Pichel. Listen, Ismael should win this fight. Vince Pichel, 40 years old, doesn't really show much of anything as far as like a crazy power or crazy ground game. He's a durable guy. He's probably going to be there. Ismael is the more dangerous guy, the more dynamic guy. He's got the striking. He's got the grappling. Ismael, to me, I don't want to say, I don't want to be disrespectful and say that he's a fraud. I want to put him in the same category as Vitor. We talked about Vitor earlier. I just don't think that this guy is as good as everyone thinks. And he kind of got exposed, right? And I think a lot of people are a little bit off Ismael because of the BSD fight. He kind of got exposed a little bit. He was showboating, got taken down, got submitted, got embarrassed. But in this fight, there could be moments, My pick is going to be Ismael. He should be able to win this fight. But as far as like putting him in parlays, minus 450, putting money lines on him, minus 450, minus 500 against a guy that's as weird as Vince. Vince is a guy that is a little bit crazy. If there is somebody that's going to go into Brazil at 40 years old and knock off one of these young prospects whose brother is fighting for the co-main event on this card, it probably is going to be a guy like Vince Pichel. The guy doesn't give a fuck. He fought in his fight against Marco Madsen, which he was getting kind of outstruck by Marco Madsen, which is not a good situation, right? But there was a moment in that fight where he almost landed a right hand on Marco Madsen, and he looked Marc square in the eye, and he said, "You better watch out, motherfucker." That is the type of crazy that can come in, match the energy, and beat a young guy like Ismael Bonfim. But Ismael should be the better fighter. He should have the striking advantage. He's more dangerous on the ground as well. But if he comes in and thinks it's going to be a cakewalk, this could get very, very interesting. There is going to be a moment like Vitor, we are fading the hell out of Ismael Bonfim. It probably isn't this fight, but I'm going to stay away from him because I just don't think he's that level to be a minus 450 favorite or whatever it is at this point. Ismael's my pick. Be a little bit cautious. Rodolfo Vieira versus Armen Petrosian. Man, I've watched a lot on this one. I have gone back and forth on this fight because Rodolfo is a guy that we've seen exposed before. The gas tank issues, the fluffy fight, was looking good, kind of folded. In interviews before, he's talked about how he doesn't really like fighting, gets scared to death in there. He doesn't really enjoy fighting. All red flags. The issue is, Armen Petrosian, as good of a striker as he is, isn't that dangerous. I mean, he's got these kicks, and you're going to see, six finishes and 9 fights or something like that. A lot of it's on the regional scene. Doesn't have a finish in the UFC. I just don't think he's dangerous enough to withstand the non-stop grappling and pace of Rodolfo. And Rodolfo has shown improvements in the striking. In that Chris Curtis fight, he showed an improved jab. I think he's really making some strides in the striking. That only is going to help his grappling as well. If he's not able to get the takedowns, he has shown that he's not necessarily just takedown, jiu-jitsu, or bust. He can kind of hang in there. Arman doesn't have a lot of dangerous strikes. He's got those kicks. With kicks comes opportunities to catch kicks, get takedowns for Rodolfo. The issue with Arman is, and I think his takedown defense is okay, but his takedown defense is okay when he's fighting somebody like an AJ Dobson, who's going to be a little bit more technical with his takedowns. He's going to push you against the fence, and if Arman is pushed against the fence and you're working a single, then you're working a double, I think he's going to be okay defending that type of takedown. Rodolfo is a guy, and we've seen Arman struggle with this over and over, like a guy like Kaue or Gregory Rodriguez. Rodolfo is a guy who is just going to fucking grab you. He is just going to muscle you, and he's going to pick you up and slam you down or drive straight through you for the takedown. And those are the type of takedowns that Arman really struggles with. I mean, he really struggles with physicality type takedowns. He just seems like he lacks that type of grappling strength. He's got the technique there. He knows what to do. He's got the underhook, but people just muscle through those. And if there's ever somebody that's just going to muscle through takedowns, it's going to be a big dude like Rodolfo, who actually has kind of cleaned up his technique as well. So I'm going Rodolfo here. And I'll be honest, I've been looking for a reason to fade Rodolfo. The reason I watched so much film on this breakdown was because I wanted to find reasons to pick against Rodolfo. I wanted to load up on Arman Petrosian, but I think there's some real opportunity for Rodolfo to really run through. In front of the home fans, Sao Paulo, Brazil, I think there's an opportunity here for Rodolfo to get an early takedown and really run through Arman Petrosian. Arman has shown good submission defense as well. But those are pre-tests, right? Those are like midterm tests. And now if you get on the ground with Rodolfo, this is the final exam. And like if he's anything like me, I've aced so many midterms, so many pre-exams. I get to the final exam and I fucking bomb it. And I got to retake the entire class. That's going to be Arman Petrosian in this fight. Give me Rodolfo Vieira with my first, maybe a second round submission. Let's move on. Kaue versus Abus in this matchup. I am going Kaue. I'm a Kaue fan. I understand that I don't want to say he lacks in the striking, because he is kind of that karate in and out style, and there definitely is going to be a situation where he might crash in on the striking and Abus is going to be over there with the striking, because Abus is a good striker. We saw he's a good striker. Against Sean Strickland, he came in, was looking great. The issue is, in that fight, not only did he get tired, but he got tired and he quit. There's situations where you get tired and you try to work through it. The second he got tired, it was like, all right, I'm kind of tired of this. I'm kind of done in this fight. And I hate seeing that with fighters, because I know a guy like Kaue, and maybe I'm going to jinx this. Maybe this is going to be clipped and whatever. A guy like Kaue will get tired, will do some things, maybe get hurt or whatever. He is not a guy that's going to quit. He's going to keep coming, and he's going to be all over Abus in this fight. If it stays striking, Abus is going to be live, especially in the first 2.5, 3, 4 minutes, the first round of this fight. Abus probably could have some success, but Kaue is so good at basically being boring, getting the takedowns. Again, kind of those explosive run-through-you takedowns, which are very, very hard to defend. Even if you have the technique, sometimes you just get overpowered. And once he has you on the ground, Kaue is so good at just keeping that control. He's not really a finisher. He could get a finish. He's high-level enough to get a finish, but he is just all about just keeping control, winning rounds. And if he does that early in the first round, I just can't trust the Abus gas tank to kind of clean it up, come in the second and the third rounds. I assume Abus is going to look better than he did against Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland is the champ, so I mean, he did lose to the champ, but Kaue should be there. He's got the X factor in the grappling, in the wrestling, get the takedowns, get the control. I'm going Kaue here. There is a little bit of hesitation to put, minus 250. The odds are starting to get a little bit wide, but the pick, it's going to be Kaue. Let's move on. Rodrigo Nascimento versus Indiana's own Dante Almeida. And this is, it's a rematch. It should be pretty cut and dry in my mind. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this because, heavyweight fights, it is what it is. Nascimento showed in that first matchup he can do enough in the striking and has a wild advantage in the grappling that in this matchup, I know it's been a few years, but Dante Almeida hasn't really shown crazy improvements in the striking. Maybe working with John Jones and all this stuff, maybe he shows off some improvements in the grappling, in the wrestling. But Nascimento, in front of the home fans, let's make this breakdown quick. He won the first one. I don't see any reason why he can't just win this next one. Even if it's all striking, I think he's going to be the one moving forward. Dante doesn't really have that one-hitter quitter type shot. And over-aggression from Dante should get some takedown opportunities for Rodrigo. So it is what it is. I'm taking Rodrigo here, but it's heavyweights. Stay away. I wish it wasn't on the main card. There should never be a heavyweight fight on the main card unless it's a title fight. That's my stance. Move on to the next one. Gabriel Bonfim versus Nicholas Dalby, and unlike Ismael, Gabriel is the real deal. I'm not a Bonfim brother hater. I think Gabriel is the real deal, and this is a great matchup for him because Nicholas Dalby can get out wrestled. He's not a crazy, dangerous guy on the feet. He is a tough dude. He is resilient, and if there's a situation where he kind of hurts Gabriel, he is going to be all over him. But Gabriel is a good, more technical striker than his brother, has just as much power, and in the grappling, you've seen how absolutely dangerous this guy is. I don't love the guillotine stuff, but when you're that good at it, I get it, man. So, I mean, this is a pretty cut and dry, easy peasy breakdown. And then maybe this ends up looking stupid or whatever, but I think Gabriel just absolutely runs through Nicholas Dalby. This was set up to show how good he is in front of the home fans in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Nicholas Dalby, a little bit older, not super dangerous, not anything great on the ground. Unfortunately, I think that Gabriel Bonfim comes in and just smokes him. There's not much more to this breakdown. He's better everywhere, and that's why he's the minus 500, minus 600 favorite. It is what it is. Let's move on to the main event. Main event time. We got Jailton Almeida versus the new and improved Derek Lewis coming in off the win when everyone was counting him out, including me. Let me preface this whole thing by saying that me, the freckled salamander, am a Jailton Almeida hater. I am. I'll be straight up and honest with you. So if you want to turn off the breakdown right now, I absolutely get it. Should Jailton come in and win this fight? Absolutely, he probably should. He should get the takedown. He should get the control. He should just choke him out Derek Lewis in 3 minutes. Is he going to do that? I don't know, man. I've been hating on Jailton Almeida for a long time. I was going to load up on Curtis Blades versus Jailton because Jailton has made a living. Remember, he's a 205er. This guy is a 205-pound light heavyweight that has been wrestling these heavyweights who have no idea how to wrestle, and then he was going to come up against an actual heavyweight, an actual wrestler with a dense bones and understanding of how to defend the takedowns in Curtis Blades, and he was going to get smoked in front of his home fans. So I am not going to go against my pick and picking against Jailton Almeida because Jailton is a guy, good grappler, good wrestler, right? Hasn't really shown anything in the striking. The guy is the most telegraphed grappler of all time. You're going to hear it all week. He always does the front kick to the double leg. I assume he's going to switch it up for this one. But even if he doesn't switch it up, there is no striking to set up these takedowns. There is nothing to set up these takedowns. It is just all explosion all the time. And the last person that was telegraphing takedowns versus Derek Lewis got fucking knocked out. And people are going to say the Spivak fight. Spivak set up a body clinch situation with strikes and then used judo to get Derek Lewis to the ground. Now, I understand Derek Lewis can get taken down. Other people have taken Derek Lewis down. I get it. But when you are telegraphed, when you give Derek Lewis the opportunity to not worry about your hands, not worry about your striking, and just wait for that telegraph shot, because Jailton is going to have a telegraph shot. He is not going to set it up with anything. Usually it's the front kick to the double leg. Even if he throws that front kick, we saw what happened in that fight versus whatever it was. He threw the front kick. The guy caught the front kick, threw the overhand right in Jailton's grill. He ate it. He's not going to eat a shot from Derek Lewis. I think Jailton is way too telegraphed. I think he is overrated. He should smoke Derek Lewis. If you're going to smoke anyone, it should be Derek Lewis. And this should be his coming out party in front of the home fans. Sao Paulo, Brazil, Jailton Almeida. He's a 205er who gives telegraph shots and has not found a power shot the way that Derek Lewis is going to find a power shot on him. So in the upset of the week, I'm going Derek Lewis to send this kid back to 205. You can't fuck around with the big boys unless you can do it all. He doesn't set up those shots. The shot's going to be telegraphed. Derek Lewis is going to be there and jump all over this kid. Back to 205. That's my breakdown. This has been my quick pick video for UFC Sao Paulo, Brazil. Make sure you like the video. Subscribe if you are new. Go to WeWantPicks.com. Consider becoming a premium member today. It's only $10 a month. My name is Jacob, a.k.a. the Freckled Salamander, and I'm out. Peace.